All right, trappers, it's day 3 out here, and the deer are starting to open up some running ways. I'm out here looking for some good sign. There's the deer. They're opening it up, and you know, you're going to find that a lot of deer are no longer, a lot of coyotes are no longer where they've been running. They're going to, generally speaking, I think the coyotes will like to take the trampled down trails that the deer offer. It makes things a lot easier, and you're going to start, you know, if this comes out or not. But a lot of wandering and things like that, make that wandering changes everything, you know, in the terms of our it changes everything in the terms of our normal location. All right, so we're starting to get, as I get along the edge of this field, all of a sudden I'm starting to get a pretty good trail opened up here. Now that's some deer. I don't see any coyote tracks yet, but look for it. And I also have a few coming this way, but these trails are opening up right now. They're telling you right where to go. I found a better one that I like a lot more here for coyotes, and I think it'd be a good cat location just right up here. And if we look how this is getting trampled down here, folks. Look at this, and look how it's going underneath. This kind of a thing right here gets real interesting. There is deer tracks in here. There is some deer. I think there's a coyote. I think that's a coyote coming through there. This would be an incredibly easy place to snare. But I got deer in here. Let's not make a noose at this spot right here, because a deer's going to duck its head here. That's just the way it's going to be. You're going to tangle a deer. But let's go up here. Let's go on around. Now the deer has its head up. This is a good trail, folks. I'm going to walk right here. Now we're getting in to a little more open. Right now, the deer stands up, comes on across. This would be a great location for set number 1 right here to go ahead and let's get ourselves a set put in, a snare trail. So we'll get this, I'll get some stuff set up. Let's get that coyote. We're going to look at a couple of opportunities we can do to catch them coyotes right in the same trails the deer are opening up, making it easy for coyotes to travel. Okay, trappers. So now what I did do here is I took and got myself some cedars. I want to narrow this trail down here just a little bit, but let's talk about what we need for our stuff. I made, and you guys have seen one of these things before, you can put a string on it. I got a deal here for our snare support, and all we got to do, we're going to use a snare right here, and I'm going to make this into a U. I'm going to set my snare right here beside the trail, so let's hammer that in. Take just a second. All right. So now my snare has a support ready to come out into the trail. Now I also want to narrow up the trail here just a little bit. I don't have to go crazy with it, but let's go ahead right in here. And I like this spot. It's going to make, we're going to do something else here as well. But I can't, let me go and pound a hole here to tighten that up. A snareman can't go without a good pair of snippers. That's just, if you're snaring, you need a pair of snippers. There we go. So now I have that one right there. Let's go ahead. I have some different ones. One of them, let's go and get our snare up. Now I'm using a 5/64 cable here, 7x7. It's got a micro lock and a micro kill spring, 75 pounds. What we want to do is make sure that this cable is tied fastened to something solid nearby. I really don't like staking these. It's just a pain in the butt. They're a one-time use type of a deal. I do like, got to make sure I have my thing here. Yep, it must be down here. I like finding trees, and I'll put an extension on if I need to, but I'm just going to stick my loop right here through here and draw it up. Now what we need is 7 to 10 feet of cable. Something there that when the coyote hits the end of it, he can hit it and come back and really tighten up that kill spring. That's important. Now, how do I measure? We'll move this slightly out. How do I measure 12 inches? Because I want a 12-inch loop, about 12 inches off the ground. Now, I gotta find my support. Oh, here it is. Got to find my support. Now these are going to, it's 17 degrees right now. I like loosen them up. There we go. I know it. You say, well, you're putting scent on it. Well, honestly, I tell you that I couldn't get this plastic on any other way on the whammy on there without getting it nice. And so we'll go with a 12-inch loop. This is 9 inches for me, so about right in there. And don't overthink this. I put a couple of loops over my cable, over my number 11 wire. I like number 11. I think everything just goes a lot better with 11. And we'll do a little twist here to get it lined up. This here has to be out of the way. And we want to come 12 inches off the trail. So I'm in the trail. I just need to bring it up a little bit. There we go. That's close enough. I got my 12 inches in the trail. I'm going to move this. Well, that ain't going to hurt nothing. It can sit right there. I have a lot more of these. Let's go ahead and tamp in a couple more. And you do, honestly, coyotes who have a trail will normally just walk right down the trail. You don't have to overthink this too much. Stick this one in. It's kind of nice just to, there we go. Got something to kind of camouflage the side. More than anything, I just want to narrow up my trail here a little bit. Let me grab another one over here because I got several of them. And let's just put one more right in here to narrow this up, just to keep the coyotes honest. And see, what's nice is these things here are creating we're transplanting some nice greenery right there. Guys, that's all there is to this type of a deal. You can make it harder than you want. You can go into more detail, but this is all it takes. What I like about putting it out here is, well, number one, I got a good solid hookup. Number two, what I like is I got a deer with their head up now. The deer isn't diving underneath of anything. That's why I pulled it a little bit away from the trees. Now, if you're looking for cats and that type of a thing, I understand you probably want to be setting something close in there, some traps or whatever. Make a cubby or whatever. Snare them that way instead of snaring them out here where the deer are going to be ducking their heads and that type of a thing. So where would I go with, I'm going to set this here. Oh, the last thing I like to do, I like taking some surveyor tape, and I don't want it blowing in the wind. I don't want it blowing in the wind, but from the trail, I just need to put something. Now, I have seen deer, I just make a little loop. I have seen deer eat these for some reason. I guess it's the sweat in my hands. But that's all there is to it. Now, if you want to make it more choked down, I got one more over here. if you want to choke this down even more, if that makes you feel better and doing things like that, you can do that. I tell you, I just don't like overthinking these snares. But let's go on up here and let's look at our next snare location. But generally speaking, I don't like giving the coyotes two different trails, so we're gonna walk right in the same trail that these guys are in. Let's come on up here. So let's follow this. Where's the next opportunity for us to hit it? See, there's nothing really branching. He's staying on this trail, but we got a dang good trail. We got a secondary trail here. This is probably even a better trail. Look at that. Look how they're crossing. That's deer, but I tell you, a guy could definitely put a snare in right here, come on across, set another snare right there beside that tree right there. If you are a person who is doing cable restraint, then by all means do what I did down there and put it right in here. Look at this beautiful trail that's opening up. Look at that. Yeah, we got opportunities here, folks, but this is a significant trail as well. Going back to here, where if I'm wanting to snare, I don't think that would be very good tree for me to tie off to, but I can get myself a nice snare down here, hook onto this good tree, and hang a snare right here on their way down the hill. Things along that line. Just follow the trail and keep setting snares. You're gonna have more coyotes hit this because they're all going down one trail. They're limited in how they want to come through the country. They don't like breaking a lot of new trail until they have to, chasing game and feeding themselves. But while they're traveling, they're going to take the easiest path, and there's opportunities here, guys. Look how this is coming in. Look how they're walking around that little twig right there. Just little tiny things. You could cable restraint, you could do any of the above, but look how they're even walking around this little thing. Pretty easy for a person to snare, catch, and like I said, if you want to add more to this, then you can. But whatever you do, you don't want to overthink these things. Tomorrow, the trails are going to get even better. You're going to have more coyote sign as they get more time in with it. Any of these trails I just showed you will work great for coyotes. Set them up. No more. Got at least get eight snares hanging up in a trail. That's what you need to do, guys, to really get in numbers. Because what if a coyote decides he doesn't want to go to this snare or go through it? He goes around. I tell you, Richard and I have seen it countless times where a coyote's going to turn right around. He avoids the one snare, gets caught in the next snare, or this snare misfires, or the wind knocks this one down, or the deer knock it down. We need to have at least 8 snares. Richard and I in the Dakotas was running about 14 to 16 snares per trail, and then going on to the next trail. Repeat the process. So you can take big numbers of coyotes this time of year. If you happen to be in a state that allows 2-3 day check, so much the better. You can even increase your catch even more. You'll be running closer to 300 to 500 snares under that deal. With this going this way, you can build up to a good 100 snares and run that line pretty quick. Check if you're doing cable restraint, check them early, check them often. In the event that you like a location and you can't, because of the 1/2 inch planted tree, well then by all means carry one of these or carry a saw and cut those out of your way, and you can replant them as long as they're not rooted. That's usually how these cable restraint laws are written. So great day to get out. Let's catch some fur, folks.